from Rockefeller's Plaza Studios in New York. This is the ODYSSEY Show. Please welcome your hostess, ODYSSEY.
Hello, hello, hello. Today we have the honor to have as a guest the founder, the director, and the curriculum coordinator of the Academy of Hellenic Paideia, Demetra Varsami. I have only good memories from Demetra because she was one of the first people that I met when I came in New York, and she opened her arms to welcome me and my son in the very, let's say, the first week over here. And you see, I'm emotional because I remember those days.
Now you're going to make me emotional too.
Yes, and it was something really amazing. Thank you for that. It's a jewel, the Academy of Hellenic Paideia, in the educational system, not only for the Greek Americans, but in general, because the things you are doing, we can only see them in the private schools, let's say, or in the schools they have another curriculum different than the state one, so many activities. In your website, I read, dedicated to education through the richness and diversity of Greek culture and language. You are running this program from 2010, so you had many kids that now they're still kids because you are young, but all your students really learned a lot of things. At the academy, kids can study Greek language, AESOP'S, myths, mythology, Odyssey, Iliad, arts and crafts, read aloud and discussions, that's my favorite, conversation, my next favorite, physics experiments, dimension of wellness, evzine, wow, not even Greece that doesn't exist, theater. Tell us more about the classes, the ages of the kids, introduce Academy to the people that they are looking now.
It's first of all, thank you for the invitation, Avi. It's a pleasure to speak with you in another denominator. To me, you and Alexander will be always the same, no matter what platform we have a conversation. We spoke even before you came here, if I remember well.
Yes.
And then it was such a pleasure to meet you both. You're very special people. I had the pleasure to meet him a little more at school, and he was quite a motivation. So thank you for having me in this beautiful journey of yours. I see what you're doing, and I admire a lot of your endeavors, and I wish you the best success.
Thank you so much.
Now, when it comes to academy and the public schools and the private schools and comparing and all that, I just never thought the way you presented it. I never created something to compare with something else, but rather have something that works. I never thought I was going to do what I'm doing now. Few years, 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I did not come to this country to become an educator.
Mm-hmm.
Even if I come from a family of educators, everybody in my family, they're teachers.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that I will never be a teacher. I will do something else. I finished Pantheon University. I graduated with a major of public administration, Δημόσια Διοίκηση στην Pantheon, and I came to this country in order to continue in that field. So I wanted to become a businesswoman. So thinking how to become a businesswoman, I went to Baruch College, Zicklin School of Business, where I graduated in CIS, Computer Information Systems. And I worked in this company in Wall Street for a few years as a customized database designer.
It's okay.
Nothing,
Big deal and big
nothing that,
difference.
yes, from
Mhm.
compared to what I'm doing.
Mhm.
So I worked a few years over there. The hours were crazy. At the same time, I was dealing with my son, with his homework and helping him. And I found a different feeling doing that. So that's when I started thinking maybe I should switch careers, because in this country you can do that. In our country, in Greece, it's
It's
a
one
little
of
bit.
the first things that you told me when I came in this
Yes,
country. Doesn't matter the age.
yes, yes,
You can choose and change the course of your life. Mhm.
exactly. As far as you love something, you can pursue a lot on that field. So instead of doing my MBA, I decided to continue in the education field. Τι καλύτερο από την παιδαγωγία. So I finished my first master's in Queen's College as an MAT, that's a master's in arts of teaching,
Mhm.
and that's in general ed, grades 1 through 6. And now I'm pursuing the second one in early childhood education, because that's another little jewel.
I know.
Hopefully, by the time that is done, I'll be able to continue with a PhD in school psychology. And in my mind, I think that will tie up everything together. Now, I never thought I was going to enjoy what we enjoy now at Academy. I
Mhm.
work in public schools in Long Island. That's where I live. And I also worked in several private schools of
Mhm.
the Hellenic Paideia, of the Greek community here, where I liked what I was doing, but then I had a lot of ideas. I needed to do more things. I had a lot of suggestions.
Yes.
Unfortunately, some of these suggestions needed a lot of work, but
Mhm.
I would do the work. All I needed was an okay to present the work and have the
Yes.
student enjoy it.
Mhm.
That's where the obstacles start coming. Sometimes people might be a little afraid of a change. Sometimes people might feel that there is too much of ancient Greece and inspiration.
Mhm.
So I decided to do on my own at home with my mom whatever I've been suggesting. And
You are so lucky to have a mother like this. You are
she
so lucky.
is my rock in so many levels. Besides being an educator for more than 40 years, she loves what she's doing. And of course, she has inspired that to me as well.
Mhm.
And she's my mentor in everything, not just as a mom, how to cook something, how to deal with
Yes,
them.
I've seen all the delicious dishes you
That's
post on
one skill
Facebook. You are
set.
lucky.
But mainly in what is going on at Academy. She's one of the co-founders. She's in the board of directors as well, and she's the one to inspire me and also stop me constructively when I have 100 ideas in my mind and I know they cannot be just, you know, illustrated and put together with just enthusiasm. That's a lot of work that needs to be done. So what you said sounded okay when it comes to private schools and public schools, but I will put it in a different way. I will say I do whatever works. Of course, there is a curriculum in place, but we are not soldiers of that curriculum.
Mhm.
I remember when Alexander was in my class, he mentioned something, and I liked so much what he said, and we started talking about that. Of course, we lost what I had prepared to present to the kids, but I didn't care because from our conversation, they got a lot. They took notes. We introduced vocabulary, and he was so proud of that. And the next day, he said, "Can we continue?" I said, "Of course." I said, and he said, "But you had something in mind." I said, "I don't care. I don't have somebody on my
That's
head."
the beauty of teaching.
I said, there is nobody on top of our heads to tell us what to do and stick with something that is concrete. We can always complete our curriculum, but this is important. This is beautiful. Let's enjoy it. So it happens quite often. And let's say I'm doing what works best, and it works when you do what works with the kids.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
So how timely is the teaching of Hellenic Paideia and in general the culture? I mean, it's principles from the past, but these days I believe we need them more.
Well, it is beautiful and constructive to be able to get inspired and adjust your curriculum in what ancient Greeks have given to the world, because they have given a lot to the world in all the fields. Philosophy, technology, medicine, architecture, everything. I tell my students that wherever you go, whatever profession you will continue, the terminology is all Greek. So that means it started from somewhere, and it started from there. So I believe it is my duty to be able to convey as much as I can from back then. It's not just a time, it's I would say it's a world that we should live in, even in this world today. There's so many things that we can enjoy from our ancestors, and they're every day in our lives, whatever comes from that time. A very good example is the Delphic Maxims, τα αδελφικά παραγγέλματα.
I'm gonna ask you later for that. Don't worry. I really love them.
Σκέφτηκα τη διαχρονικότητά τους. No matter what time we live in, those are there. There's so many other things. In our everyday world, there are so many things that, you know, started then, and we keep enjoying them now.
I can tell that to open and establish a pioneer school like this, very close to the schools that already were teaching, let's say, Greek language, it was first of all difficult. You said that you came up with the idea after teaching your son, because before that you have had a successful career in Wall Street. It was difficult to come in Astoria and open this pioneer school, because the principles that you teach, they're different than the principles the other Greek schools, or some of them, they are following, right?
Well, I think, Avi, in this world, we can all coexist, whether we offer the same thing or whether we offer even something different. There is always room for whoever wants to give to the community. I happened to come in Astoria because most of my students were here, so I thought it would be more convenient for them to start here. But we do have a very good relationship with all the schools around. A lot of my colleagues, a lot of my teachers here, they teach in other schools as well. So there's nothing wrong with it.
No, I'm not saying it's nothing wrong. It's nice. It's nice. The academy, I believe it's a dream that came true. How you teach that to your students to keep on dreaming and keep on trying?
I never dreamed of academy. I never dreamed of any academy 10 years ago, 12 years ago. It was just a process that started, I will say, out of disappointment, because sometimes disappointment can be constructive. Sometimes disappointment helps you collect, and then trying to figure out how to work things around. My son, who's now 21 years old, he would mention quite often to me that he was bored to go to the Greek school. I used to teach in that Greek school as well at that
Mm-hmm.
time.
Mm-hmm.
I used to teach in other Greek schools as well at that time, and I knew what was working and what was not working.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I started thinking of what would work for my son. Then a few more friends of his came, and what we were doing in the house with my mom would make the house a mess. But it was a constructive mess because
Mm-hmm.
whatever we were doing was hands-on activities,
Mm-hmm.
and they liked it, and they would learn from that. Um, because as I told one of my old principals when I was working in one of the schools, when she said, "Don't be that, that's too much activities," and she said, "Relax." I said, "Knowledge has to be like the wine. We
Exactly.
To satisfy all senses.
Mm-hmm.
Have to
Exactly.
smell it, we
Exactly.
have to touch it, we have
Mm-hmm.
to see it, we have to taste it, and we have to hear it. Γι' αυτό το γκρίζουμε."
Exactly.
So I love wine once in a while. So I had that in mind
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to conveying information to the students. It has to be in such a way that they will absorb it and
Mm-hmm.
it will motivate them to move on.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And where I wanted to end, it will make them wonder, search, and ask, speak out. Why? Why?
Why?
So that why is what will make them move on in life
Move on. Mm-hmm.
with metechmeria, with specific arguments and specific
Mm-hmm.
evidence, with things that make sense. So
Exactly.
I always tell my students here, wonder, ask yourself why. Do not just, absorb something because they offering it to you. Keep what makes sense. And they
Mm-hmm.
like it. They like it. They like to ask why, and they like the reasoning behind it.
Exactly.
We're Greeks. It's all about reasoning.
Exactly.
We're just
Exactly.
hmm
What is more important for you in the end of a school day? What you want your students to remember when they go back at their houses?
Hmm. That's a good question. I guess whatever drew their attention. You know how many times I asked my son after he would, come home from school, "What did you learn today?" Nothing. I'm sure he did a lot,
Yep.
but it's what draws your attention. It's
Exactly.
what, for me, a school day is worth when the students leave with food for thought. When they don't go home, one more day is done. But when they keep thinking about what we did today and they come up with so many ideas the next day because they know that we run this as a big family, as a big community.
Mm-hmm.
They do have a saying.
That's
I
important.
sit in a circle with my teachers, my colleagues, and we decide together. Um, I do not have a high chair with a bag that shows that, I'm the principal. That doesn't work
That doesn't work.
because no matter what I feel in my perception that is working, it might not be working in the reality. And it
Exactly.
is them
Mm-hmm.
in the classrooms that will see that and will come with the feedback. Of course,
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the classroom all the time as well, but I cannot be in all the classroom at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So their feedback and their concerns, parentheses, they should like what they do because
That's the main point.
this is a profession that if you don't like it, you better not do it. That's
You
the
won't
time
be
to
good.
change career.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I've seen a lot of teachers switching careers. I'm the other way around. I came in
Yes.
this
Yes.
field
Yes.
switching careers from another field. So my students have a saying as well. When it comes to curriculum, of course, I will prepare the curriculum. I will discuss it with my teachers, with my colleagues, because we're a team. But then, sometime on May, end of April and May of every year, I will go to every classroom to ask them how was this year? Did we enjoy it? Do we think we should change something for the students next year? And they're giving me the best ideas ever, Αυγή.
Τα παιδιά λένε την αλήθεια.
Γιατί ξέρουν.
Γιατί
Αυτό
ξέρουν.
που αισθάνεται το παιδί είναι κρύσταλλο.
Exactly.
Είναι καθρέφτης, that's the mirror. Whatever they feel, that's the mirror. And I should take that into consideration. When I suggested this to other schools that I was teaching under a whole hierarchy of administrations, they told me, "Are you crazy? You're not going to ask your students what to do. They're going to say nothing." I said, "Well, let me try it." They didn't even let me try it. But here, I didn't come up with Evzin. I did not. That we were talking with my 7th graders, and then I said, "Oh, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about this and that." So one word of all that is Evzin. That's what happened with Iliad. That's what happened with Odyssey. That's what happened with journalism.
Exactly.
Martina,
and you are teaching courses that they don't exist in other schools, like journalism.
Let's say the students came up with that, and I cannot say no. All I have to do is find the right people to deal with that. When we were acting out a little myth in mythology, whatever, and they suggested they want to have theater, I could not think of anybody better than Ioana Katsarou at that time.
Yes.
Now
after you did the short films.
Ioana has been with me since 2011. Way before that. Theodori, who's teaching now the theater class, joined us later on. Same story with Alexandra Skendrou. I met Alexandra in another school where I was working, and I could not think of a more inspiring musician, friend, person, comedian.
You are so lucky. You are so lucky.
They're amazing.
The 50% of a good partnership is the people that you have around you.
They're very good people, and
you are excellent, but they are so good.
They love what you're doing. It is the power of working as a team, Avi. That's what it is.
So every Saturday morning I'm used at your post. Δελφικό παράγγελμα της εβδομάδας. Last week's was βίας μη έχου. Να αποφεύγουμε την βία. How inspiring and powerful message, especially in the past months we have witnessed such violence episodes running around the US.
That was the Delta Maxim of last week, yes. And you are few of the people who give a like to those. Some were just bored looking at them. Oh, another one. But if you, well, a lot of people don't know them. When I say Delfika Paraggelmata, I heard Adelfika. I said, όχι αδελφός, είναι η δελφή, το μαντίο των δελφών. A lot of people don't know them. I didn't know them. They existed when I started in Greece. Nobody taught them to me when I was in elementary school, γυμνάσιο, λύκειο, πανεπιστήμιο, nothing. I didn't know.
That's really sad about the education in Greece. We don't have.
That's a huge chapter.
Yeah, that's a huge chapter. So what's next week, παράγγελμα?
The next weeks, let me see. The next weeks will be Philia and Agapa, to love friendship.
Okay, nice.
So they are worth at any time. I know they come from ancient Greece. They are not ancient. They were born there, but those are very good everyday life lessons that my students enjoy since they are 2 years old. I know it sounds crazy. My little one too. So the teachers have started speaking to him about Philia and Agapa. Πόσο σημαντικό είναι να σεβόμαστε και να αγαπάμε τους φίλους. So you can adjust the Delta Maxim in all ages. You can have a very sweet, innocent conversation um, about Delphic Maxim when they're very young.
Mm-hmm.
You can trigger their philotimo big time.
Mm-hmm.
Because of that, he told me how he grabbed little Vivian's toy and he threw it in the toilet and he flushed the toilet. Since then, τον έχουν ζώσει οι τύψεις. So, αγαπάμε τους φίλους. Ναι, αγαπάμε τους φίλους, μαμά. And then you can have a very sophisticated conversation with the older students. So for me, they're very important. And
That's
no matter
nice.
how many people give me likes, I don't really care about that. I will keep
You shouldn't care because they don't know, as you said, they don't know.
I will keep introducing them because I see they have an effect in my students' lives.
That's
And
true.
I'll tell you I'll mention one more thing, and then we can continue with your next questions. I'm sorry, I have a big mouth. I talk a lot about everything you
You
ask.
are a Greek, my friend. You are Greek.
Not only,
You cannot help it.
you know, this is my baby, and
Yeah, I know.
it's so
I told you that
I
the
feel
other time.
enthusiastic about
I
it.
have the feeling that it's your baby.
So that was a few years ago, and in the morning on Saturday, when I ring the bell, we get together, we sing the national anthem, and then we sing the academy anthem. That's an anthem that we have created here. I have an amazing student. Her name is Harula.
Mm-hmm.
Harula has been with me for many years. So we were talking about the Delphic Maxim, techni chro, use art. We can use art, we can produce art everywhere, and how important and beautiful it is to produce art and make art. So we shared that, and then she says, Κυρία Δήμητρα, σκέφτηκα κάτι. She said, Miss Dimitra, I thought of something. I said, yes, Χαρούλα μου. And she says, αν όλοι χρησιμοποιούσαν τα δελφικά παραγγέλματα και τα ξέρανε, ο κόσμος θα ήταν καλύτερος.
Καλύτερος.
So she said,
Exactly.
if everybody knew and would respect the Delphic Maxim and would use the Delphic Maxim, the world would be beautiful. She brought tears in my eyes, but look at her perception that,
I believe it's our duty to pass them to the kids. It's
yeah,
it's our duty.
it
And
is, and we should
I'm
not
not
give up.
a teacher to say this, but I agree with you 100%. It's our
You're a
duty
mom,
to pass it.
you're a mother, and whatever you do with your kids is right.
Yes.
And you have a lot of saying on that as well. I run this place as a mom first, and then as an educator. I
I
have to
know, I
have
know, I know. That's why you have fanatic supporters and another family over there. It's not
luckily we have a good time together.
yeah, that's very important, especially in these days and in this country, because everything is about money here,
Yeah.
and in the level that in Greece we don't understand it. All the questions and all the conversation here is almost about money. Let's say that that's why many people here they're not happy because they have conversations like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so
It's
your teaching is based in ancient Greek principles. Few days ago, you organized an online event for your students with Dr. Leonidas Billis as guests to inform them that behind every great invention were Greeks with the theories and philosophies, as you said before. I'm sure that not even the Greeks they know about all this, and it's a kind of ironic to present this knowledge in a film such as My Big Fat Greek Wedding. Of course, humor sometimes is the best teacher, but something we don't do correct as Greeks.
Well, what happened with in relation to Dr. Billis is this. I have been enjoying his books. He wrote an amazing series of books. He is a marketing professor, but also he is quite inspired from our ancestors and what they gave to the world.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, when he started teaching his students about marketing, he would introduce to them different models that inventors that were not Greek have invented. Later on, we found out that whatever has been presented as inventions of non-Greek inventors, they were Greek inventions that originated a few thousand years ago. So, inspired by the book that I read last, Όλοι αντέγραψαν τους Έλληνες, Everybody Copied Greeks, I decided to create a little presentation. I haven't even spoken with him yet. I just decided, basically it was Kyria Neta's, my mom's idea of presenting. The book is not in the level that my students are in Greek language, is quite above. It's a little more sophisticated, but as an educator, we have, as educators, we have magic buttons to press and
yes,
yes,
you can explain and they can understand.
So I created this presentation based on the information that Kyria Neta collected, and I presented to my students, and they were mesmerized. And they loved it. And they couldn't let me teach language after that. And I said, that's fine. We can do this for 2 hours. And they were not tired. And they didn't want to go out for a break. And it was amazing. So what happens now is I have to change my curriculum. I've been up a few nights and I've been adjusting a lot of chapters from the book so we can continue this. We already ordered the books for them. I said, those are difficult, guys. Look at them. Είναι δύσκολα. And Κωνσταντίνα said, μα μπορώ να το διαβάσω. Λέω, μπορείς να το διαβάσεις, αλλά έχει δύσκολες έννοιες. And then she said, maybe my parents can translate. And if we sit together and we work on this, I think they're going to love it too. So I already ordered the books. They're coming. And Mr. Billy was kind enough to join us. So this is where the online meeting is going to be for about 10 minutes. Because I know his time is valuable. This coming Saturday, while we have our journalism class, because Miss Martina Demeli has prepared them as reporters too, all these years that she's teaching journalism. So they have questions to ask him about where he found the evidence and how difficult it was to present something that has been presented that somebody else has invented. So I look forward for that, for those 10-15 minutes on Saturday. But they were inspired and they asked me to change the curriculum, and I said, yes, I will change the curriculum. So this is going to be going.
Yes. You inspired me as well, is the truth, because I'm in the process to start the American Hellenic Institute of Health and Well-Being.
Another thing in your plate. Good job. Okay.
I believe there is a field that here in US we can educate them, because we will be based on Mediterranean nutrition, ancient Greek nutrition, philosophies and therapies, and surprisingly, podic nutrition, which people, when they are listening about Greece, mostly they know about the Crete nutrition, but the podic nutrition is full of superfoods.
Yes.
That's why our grandfathers and grandmothers live so long. So I believe with this institute, we will present to the people all this that you said about the greatness of ancient Greece.
Yeah, that's great.
So you inspired many people, and you don't know about it. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. If we educate, we learn, and we live with some of these principles, because the time is different, but at least the principle about ethic, which is really important these days.
Yes.
We will have a better society.
Yes, that's great. A friendly advice. It is it is easy and it is so innocent and beautiful and enjoyable to work with kids. It's a little more difficult with the adults. So whatever you're gonna do, you will need a little more work. And
Okay,
that
okay,
amazing
okay,
flow.
okay.
But
I'm taking that and
yes,
I will keep it. And I would like you to ask you to be one μία από τις εισηγήτριες because we will start open university lectures. See your time how it's gonna be, and otherwise we just record it and we just upload it
I'll be
because we
more than
try
happy to.
to do this for the adults because for the little kids we have something here in New York.
Yes.
You don't need nobody else. So lately, and I'm sure you have if something you might read online. We have witnessed that the movement Disrupt Text demanded to stop the teaching of many classic writers as Shakespeare and Homer, and especially Odyssey, because the content for them is inappropriate and sexist. So, how far the political correct movement will go? Isn't it a sacrilege in a way? Do we have a new medieval? I'm using some expressions, strong expressions, but can we even discuss about Homer and Odyssey if it's sexist or something like that? For my opinion, it's crazy. What's going
Um,
on around in US? What's going on?
I would not be in the best position to refer to that. It has a lot of parameters, and obviously I don't have the best knowledge. I don't like to play smart, but I've heard about it, and
It's sad.
it is disappointing, Abhi.
Hmm.
I say there should be a good group of people that strongly believe in those virtues and values, because what what you mentioned, Homer, has someone can find a lot in Homer's epics, Iliad and Odyssey, and it is a matter of the right people getting together with the right arguments and evidence to show the world that they can only get something good out of them. That
Exactly.
what I teach my students and they love it and they convey it to other parts of their lives and levels, it is right. And I will keep teaching those virtues and values with every cost.
Hmm.
So we just need a good group of dedicated, I wouldn't say professionals, I would say inspired educators, philosophers, because we do have a lot of philosophers those days, that they should fight for the good of
Exactly.
what you mentioned.
Where are all these? Where are all these people? Because we are watching all these bad things happening, and where is the other side?
One of them is what you mentioned before, Mr. Billis. He's a jewel in what he does, and being in the right platforms and speaking to people in as many places as possible,
Hmm.
I think
Hmm.
it would be extremely beneficial. I
Yes,
know I cannot change the world, but I will talk about this man and what he inspires and produces, which is, in a good sense, that to let as many people as
yes,
possible
yes,
know,
yes,
because there are only few people like him in this world, and we should benefit in a good sense from
exactly,
his knowledge and his spirit. Yeah.
exactly. So every year you're
Hmm.
organizing really nice celebrations, let's say for the 28th of October, for 25th of March. Your shows, let's say them like this, are spectacular and everybody is included, and all the parts of Greece are honored with poems and dances. Also, annually, you're organizing the Kids Festival, Timarete. You have gone far more than a typical Greek American school. I really enjoy τις γιορτές, τις επαιτειακές, τα χορευτικά που φροντίζεις και δεν αφήνεις καμία περιοχή εκτός και αποδίδεις το σεβασμό που πρέπει να έχουμε στην μητέρα πατρίδα και πραγματικά σε ευχαριστώ γι' αυτό. Είδα το γιο μου να χορεύει ποντιακά και δεν το περίμενα και λέω wow. Και όλοι οι γονείς όρθιοι να χειροκροτούν και να νιώθουν όλοι περήφανοι. Εξαιρετικό αυτό.
Well, I don't know how spectacular they look, but they fill me up with great joy and pride. We do not sacrifice that much time from our curriculum time in order to prepare something spectacular. But they enjoyed, maybe because of that, maybe because they enjoyed.
The vibe is amazing. That is spectacular because the vibe is amazing and everybody is so disciplined. Everybody in those
they
days.
Are. I'm glad it comes out
they
like
know
that.
Where to go on stage, when to leave the stage.
Well, you know, I cannot take the credit for that. It's all the teachers that we work together as a team.
Okay.
And every time we organize, we just get together and we plan how it is going to happen with the least amount of time that we need to take away from the curriculum. I worked in schools where the only thing that I had to have in mind as a Greek educator as a Greek teacher was to prepare for the holidays, to prepare for the shows. So
yes.
We would start in September, and the only thing that I had in mind is to teach them poems. Now, some of the poems were difficult. They were given to me. This is what they need to recite. And I said, at some point, I remember, I said, but they don't understand. I need to explain these first. And my principal told me, you don't need to explain, just have them memorize. So the poor kid,
not how it's working, though.
Recited the poem. It was a big applause, but he didn't feel it. He didn't know the meaning. And for me, it was not that fulfilling. Here, we'll say less poems. They will recite. They're going to bring out to you, the parents, whatever they feel, whatever they know. And it feels good getting together and celebrating all the richness of our culture.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Timarete that you mentioned, Avi, that's, again, I cannot take credit for. It started in the head of my husband, Konstantinos Doikos. He thought of that. What I liked about the idea is, which triggered me since the beginning, and that's one reason why I said let's do it, because it needs a tremendous amount of work.
I know.
Work. You know better, you're in that business. For me, that's not a business, it's something else. But this is what I told him, let's do it. The years that I lived in this country, I came here 20 years ago, 21 years ago. And every time there was a festival,
you were there.
Yes, I went there in order to take my child to the rides, eat souvlaki, baklava,
But it was only that, tzatziki, souvlaki, nothing else.
Dance a little bit. So we got together after Konstantinos came up with the idea with an amazing group of friends and educators and artists. Ioanna Katsaru was in that group, Nikos Katsanevakis, Adonia Papadjanaki. Everybody knows Adonia. She's a distinguished artist. Dora Fiotodimitraki was there. Vivian Trivizai. Vivian είναι φιλόλογος. Amazing people. Η Έλενα Ιπαλούμπη τότε, ηθοποιός. And we all embraced that idea, and all we had in mind is how to bring our culture out to the world, having Greeks participate, but not only Greeks. We had an Armenian group present something that is similar to our polyphonic song. So even the artists that are inspired from ancient Greece, or contemporary Greece, they're all welcome. And the years that we ran the festival, the 4 years, it was amazing. It's been embraced, and the participation was great. When it comes to the little profit that it would make from the tickets and all that, we used to use that amount in order to sponsor students that have had difficult time with tuition. My school does not close the door to anyone. So families that go through hardships, I think in the extent that we should help as much as we can, and
It's amazing. What are you doing?
that
Amazing.
would help some.
Congratulations.
There were parents when I said, that's fine, I understand. You go through a difficult time.
Everybody.
You can bring your little one in, but they would say no. Είναι υπερηφάνεια του Έλληνα. But then when I say, you know what, this is what we do. Let's get together and let's bring out to the world how beautiful our culture is. And, maybe at some point we'll be able to cover a part of the tuition. So anyway, to make the whole story short, everybody responded beautifully to it. And by the time I would see people out and they would ask me, πότε είναι τη Μαρέτη φέτος? When is the festival this year? Coronavirus is in the stage.
In the house.
Yes, we had to put it on hold.
And it's really difficult to do everything online. I know that.
We could do parts of it online, Avi, but theater online is not the same.
And it's not the same.
How will you hold hands online and dance and bring out what the dance had to bring out?
Because we need to show to the people that the Greeks, they're not souvlaki and pasticcio. The contemporary Greeks, they're something else. Many of them, they're educated. Many of those educated, they left the country and they are here because there is a new wave of people from Greece that they are here, including myself. And
don't get me wrong.
We need to show to the people that we are not only the souvlaki.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. We need to. Souvlaki is amazing, and spanakopita and all that. We need them. We definitely need them, but
of course it's a tradition. But we are not only that. We are not only that. We are more.
To focus on that. Yes, we have a lot more to give. All right.
So, how COVID-19 changed your life at the academy? I can see all those posts and the photos with the all necessary measures that you are taking in the classes, the doctor's uniforms that you are wearing right now, the masks, and your students are young. Do they discipline? I can imagine how difficult it was in the beginning, right? First of all, you didn't know because the state they're asking things to do.
Well, it was definitely a chapter that we needed to adjust big time. I was not that positive about it, about adjusting everything, because as you know, my curriculum is not based on a screen or giving directions and following them and sending homework and correcting it and come back. My curriculum is based on interactivity. We right in front of me, it is το Ελληνικό Παντοπολείο, where students set it up by themselves because the vocabulary comes out of it. So they need to touch το αντίβαρο, τα γραμμάρια, το χιλιόγραφο, the old-fashioned one. I have them. I brought them. And everything else that we do. So I said maybe it's time to just go back to my public school life and leave academy to become a memory at some point. So we closed those few months that we needed to close back in
I remember.
Then with special DC number for essential workers, Department of Health granted us the okay to run the place, to run the program with all in place, disinfecting and cleaning and how can you keep in distance? How can you maintain a distance with the little one?
It's crazy. It's
It is
crazy.
very difficult. Sometimes you get there, sometimes you don't. It's not easy. It was difficult, but we had to adjust somehow and find τη χρυσή τομή, a balance where right now we feel that we have a beautiful world. I don't know what's going on out there. We have, of course, with all the precautions, we'll celebrate birthdays. um, we'll have our activities. Unfortunately, I cannot have the parents join, so it's
Yes,
just videos and
yes, I
pictures.
understand. And you
But
cannot take them out as
yes,
it used to
we
be.
go
No.
out when the weather permits us. We
Ah.
go out, we go to the park, they play, they like it, but always, don't touch this, let's disinfect this. We're trying our best. So hopefully it's going to go away soon, because we need to enjoy what we deserve as
Exactly.
educators and parents.
And parents,
Yeah.
yes.
It's terrible to tell a child, don't hug.
Don't.
And
Yeah.
I would always expect my students to come with a hug, and they would live with a hug. It's taken away.
It's important. This with the hang you say. It's a medicine. It's a medicine for the
Yeah.
immune system.
Hopefully, let's be negative
Yes.
and
Let's
positive in thought.
have the let's take the positivity
Yeah.
that soon in the with the one way or the other we will return, but not in the normality that many people they are believing. This that is coming is something new.
Yeah.
It's something new. So the Greek language is no more the mother language of many Greek Americans. As I say, people up to 40 they don't speak the Greek languages, the Greek language. Where this will lead us, because when you don't speak the language, you cannot connect yourself with Greece, με την μητέρα πατρίδα. Δεν μπορείς να υπάρχει μια συλλογική μνήμη, το οποίο είναι πολύ άσχημο. Πόσο Έλληνας μπορείς να νιώσεις χωρίς τη γλώσσα, απλά θυμόμενος ιστορίες της γιαγιάς και κάποια φαγητά της γιαγιάς.
I will say I don't know where this is going to lead us, because I don't want to say anything negative. I don't want to hear anything negative. Unfortunately, as you were saying, from generation to generation, the Greek language is being used less and less. I know that I do not have a magic wand to have my students speak fluent Greek, όπως μιλάω εγώ και εσύ τώρα, στα ελληνικά, αν μιλούσαμε στα ελληνικά. From those hours that they come here, Saturdays, let's say 4 hours a week or 6 hours a week, it's a little different with the preschools. With the preschool classes, είναι 8 ώρες. They're here 8 hours.
That's something else.
Yes. But with them, I feel they are a very amazing seed of, starting with Greek and picking up. But most of my students, they are in the position where they do not speak Greek, or they speak a little Greek. I have parents who feel guilty because they don't speak Greek to their kids. And then I have parents who justify themselves, saying that, you know what? This is what Aliki told me the other day. She said, I feel bad, but I only see my daughter 2 hours a day.
What
I'm
to do?
going to struggle communicating. I'm just going to speak to her in English because I need to communicate with her. So I understand that language is a very, very important factor in connecting with your roots, but I just feel I should not give up. And all the educators here in New York and around the world, we should do our best to inspire our students to learn the language, not impose it to them. Because
Exactly.
I've seen those conversations on Facebook where a mother says, my son doesn't want to go to Greek school. And then another mother says, πρέπει να τον πιέσεις. You should force him to go because he's going to thank you later on. And she's like, but he's crying hysterically. So I go in and I say, speak to your principal.
Κάτι γίνεται λάθος στο σχολείο τότε για να κλαίει και το παιδί ιστερικά
Maybe
και να θέλει να
I'm
πάει.
not the one to judge, but you parents have a very important role on your hands. Speak and see if something can be changed so that they appreciate the language and then they are okay with learning it. Talk to them, inspire them, give them
They don't have time. It's the truth here. They don't have time. People that are working a lot of time hours.
Yeah.
In my house, we don't speak English. We speak only Greek. And when Alexandros, because he doesn't remember many things, even though he's going to the Greek school. I'm trying to have him over there and only Greek, and the little one only Greek.
It is okay. It is easy sometimes when both parents are Greek and they speak Greek fluently. It is a little more difficult when both parents are Greek, they don't speak Greek fluently. It's even more difficult when one parent is Greek, the other one is not. In that case, the good balance would be one parent speaks in English, the other one in Greek. So it's a matter.
I believe English they will learn learn the language in the school. So for at least for the moment only Greek in the house, because it said even though Alexander's born in Greece, he's losing the words.
Yeah.
Because he's surrounded with the English language. Okay, we will continue. We will continue with fairy tales and stories and see where it's going.
Anything that inspires him.
Θα ήθελα να κλείσουμε με το δελφικό παράγγελμα που σε εκφράζει.
I would choose two, if that's okay with you.
Of course.
The first one is the one that it's in the logo of our school, and our logo started back then with Nikos Katsanevakis. He's an amazing friend who did the graphics and stuff. So he's the one who designed our logo, and we used Γνώθησε αυτόν, know thyself. I believe that whenever there is a problem in any field, any level, the first thing that we do is point at somebody else, accusing somebody else. If we start it ourselves, I think we always find something to improve. So I tell my students, and we discuss that, how important it is to find even a tiny little thing. You might be perfect, but there might be a tiny little thing you can improve and change a situation. So start on yourself, only if you know yourself. The second one is the midenagan. Nothing in excess, do not waste. I tell my students that some people do not have anything to waste. If you have anything to waste, don't waste it. Put it in good use. They like it, and everybody brings a little example from their everyday life.
This is something that I learned from you. Το μηδέναγαν ούτε εγώ το ήξερα.
Ούτε εγώ το ήξερα πριν αρκετά χρόνια.
Και το έμαθα από εσένα και το τιμώ πάρα πολύ. Προσπαθώ δηλαδή να το...
I hope it is the start of, dealing with every one of the Delphic maxims, because all of them have an amazing importance in our lives.
That's true. I would like to thank you so much. It's like having a chat with a friend. Συγχαρητήρια για την απίστευτη δουλειά που κάνεις και θα τη δεις να αναγνωρίζετε σε βάθος χρόνου από τα παιδιά.
Να είσαι καλά, σε ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ. I wish you all the best in every pathway that you follow. As far as you're passionate, and I see you being passionate about what you're doing, there will be success.
Thank you so much.
Okay, all the best.